Hi.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, girl.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, grrr.
Well, hello, and thanks for coming, America. My name is Seth. What's yours?
Hello, Jamal's here.
Hi, it's Stony.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Thanks for Coming podcast, the most magically gay podcast that ever was. And we are back again to, maybe we need to have a conversation. Like, it doesn't quite feel right to just be so cheery. We got to get the elephant out of the way first, right, girls?
Most definitely. There's no way we can't just talk about this piece of pie.
This pie is tart and unappealing.
Super sour.
Ugh, our first impressions were definitely correct.
Yeah.
About her.
Also, too, before we get into this, I feel like that we should just give a quick trigger warning for those that are listening and do not like to listen to topics that touch on sexual assault and things of that nature. So if that is something that you do not want to hear about, you may want to skip ahead like 10 to 15 minutes. We can try and put a time code in the notes too once we get all this edited and figured out, so you can skip to that also.
Yes, we don't mean to offend anybody, but this is a discussion that we have to have.
Right. We're going to kind of talk about the story, but also kind of just let you guys know how we're going to handle that topic throughout the season. Yeah, because spoiler alert, which may not even be a spoiler. So if you don't want a spoiler, skip ahead 30 seconds. Give you time.
Do it now.
Because Sherry Pie makes it to the top 4, rumor has it. So this is going to be kind of hanging over us throughout the season as we cover the show. So that is the reason why we are talking about it. So let's get into it. Do you want to give us a synopsis, Jamal? Or do you want me to? I don't know.
Sure. So I'm sure by now, listeners, you've seen all over the internet that RuPaul's Drag Race has made a statement, an official statement from the RuPaul's Drag Race socials, from the WoW Present socials, that Sherry Pie was disqualified on allegations of what I would categorize as severe catfishing. Sherry Pie, basically, the long and short of it is she was pretending to be a casting agent by the name of Allison Mossy under, I forget which studio. I have a ton of links in front of me, but I want to keep this moving for you all.
Yeah.
But anyway, Allison was posing as this agent and collecting various recorded footage of individuals, at least 6 that we know confirmed, doing various acts sexually, non-sexually, but always removing layers of clothing. One guy admitted that he even went as far as to masturbate on camera and off camera for Allison because he really wanted the opportunity in the role. So it was just overall a massive abuse of power. These individuals still don't know where these videos are. And naturally, just the way I believe karma and the universe works, all of this came to a head hours before Sherry Pie's premiere episode on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, that was really crazy too, because I was at work and then, all of a sudden, Jamal's texting me stuff. I'm seeing our Twitter notifications popping off. Then I start to scan Twitter and I'm like, oh, this is happening. And now this is happening. Oh my God, Jamal, look at this. And so it was really crazy to kind of see all this flurry of chaos, or basically all this information coming forward.
Yeah.
Just leading up to the show. She was canceled before we even saw her on the show.
Completely. And this all began with an individual named Ben Shimkus and his statement. We won't read it because it's pretty lengthy, but go to our Twitter because we did repost it there kind of as everybody was reacting to what was happening. But Ben kind of kicked these doors open because they were I'm seeing all the promo for the show. I'm hearing rumors that Sherry Pie makes it pretty far, and I just can't go forward without saying something. And then after that, more people came forward, and now here we are. We have our first ever, not first ever, disqualified queen, but I don't think Willem should be. I saw this on Twitter. I don't think Willem should be in the same category as Sherry Pie for obvious reasons.
Right.
So I'm going to go ahead and say our first officially disqualified queen on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, it was just such a wild story. And I don't know if this is with Ben, but there was like a story that just came out, I think, yesterday, just maybe even after the premiere. But basically, it was about like this one guy, and he was like actually like real life friends with Sherry, and they were like, you know, really good friends. They would like count on each other. Like he said, he like felt close to her, like really was like, you know, they would tell each other everything. But she still like ran this whole scheme on him. And it led up to the point where, like, she had him taking steroids.
Yikes.
In order to, like, bulk up faster for this supposed role. And it's left him with, like, long, life-lasting medical, like, issues. And so it's, like, really fucked up.
It's way deep and dark and demented, y'all. And, you know, we have a dark humor on this show, but we would never joke about any of the things that have happened with this Sherry Pie case. And, you know, Sherry / Joey, their boy drag name, did make a statement and an apology, but Aquaria quickly reached out online and just kind of called Sherry to task and was like, you can't sit here and lie in your apology, like basically saying your apology is shit. And now, like, I mean, as a human being, I'm sure this is crazy for Sherry Pie, but I mean, this is why you have to think before you act. And if you're going to do something like try to get on RuPaul's Drag Race and do really well, you know the internet is going to find every corner of your darkest secret.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't want to like repeat everything you guys said. Like, I agree with everything you've said about it, but it's crazy to me that she did this to these people, because I mean, this is not a just, oh, I was catfishing and just being kind of like a weirdo online. Like, this was like I actually just pretended I was someone else, like put people in these like compromising positions as somebody that pretended like I was in a like position of power, that I had this ability to, you know, get you on the show or whatever. It's just super fucked up. And the fact that she knew them in real life is even worse, because it's like she was just like friends with these people, and then she had this like other person online that she was using to basically manipulate them and make them do these things. It's just super fucked up.
And also, listeners, keep in mind too, a few of these accounts, the victims said that they got Allison Mossy's contact information from Sherry Pie. And, you know, Sherry Pie basically admitted to all of this in her apology. So, but just putting all the pieces together, it's just been crazy to think like, wow, somebody actually... We know there's sickos out there, but we just didn't think that we'd find one on RuPaul's Drag Race. Right.
And I mean, from, you know, stories that I've seen online, like there's been like things that happened before. Like I haven't researched it, so I don't really want to speak on those topics. But one of the justification, I guess, or the reasoning that Sherry used for doing this was because of mental health reasons. And so that is something I kind of wanted to bring in the discussion, because I don't think that is an excuse, because I feel like on some level, you know that you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. Like, it didn't take you to like be going on RuPaul's Drag Race to know what you were doing was wrong. But mental health issues are real, and they affect people differently. When people say, oh, like it's because of my mental health, it's not like one specific thing. So and the reason why I bring this up is because I was watching Jakeyonce's live stream where Jakeyonce was saying like, oh, I think it is so gross that she's blaming this on mental health. Like, it is just so gross. And I don't feel like that's a fair criticism. No shade to Jakeyonce, because his coverage has been really great and we love him. But he's also 19 and hasn't had as much life experiences as the three of us. So I think Jakeyonce saying that, I think, is not fair, because mental health affects people in different ways. And you know, even in Sherry's statement, she said, oh, well, I don't think I ever really loved myself. And, you know, I think on some level I can like relate to that, because I mean, when you're not like fitting into the picture perfect image, like maybe you're too masked, maybe you're too, maybe you're plus size, whatever you want to call it, you feel rejected and you maybe resort to doing things like this. I mean, obviously it's not normal. Obviously it's not good behavior. But I'm not condoning it. I just can kind of relate to like what I'm assuming is like the lead up to her actions, and things that may have caused her to do these things. So, I think that saying that it was because of her mental health, it could be like depression, anxiety, low self-image, things like that.
There's so many layers, right? So I wouldn't say that Sherry Pie is using mental health as an excuse. I think that Sherry Pie is looking for a way to try to communicate where she was
like a
at
reason
that point.
why it happened.
Yeah, she was at a low point, clearly, at that point in her life, and I can relate to it that way as well. And again, we're not here to try to save Sherry Pie or anything, because what has happened is terrible. But I'm in the school of no excuses. So the way I personally feel, and you're absolutely right, Jake is only 19, so he's got some more life to be living before you can really just go out and say something's gross. And again, that's no shade. It's mainly because there are so many layers and everyone is so different. The human mind is so complex. And I'm just like Seth, at some point you had to know and feel that the things you were doing were not right. Like there's no way that could have felt good or felt pleasant. So at some point, the human side of you, regardless of what you're going through, should have popped up, in my opinion, just my opinion, and been like, I need to stop this, or I need to come clean, or delete this footage, whatever. But I'm sure there was some aspect of mental health issues going on.
I mean, I think...
Yeah.
To like Jakeyonce saying that it's disgusting, like I also disagree with what Jakeyonce said, but I do think like with Sherry Pie's statement about, it was like a mental health issue, it's all good for your explanation, but like you really need at this point to like show that that's what you mean and like get real help, because like obviously whatever issue she was having, she was letting it still play out. So like she needs to like figure out what's causing this and like go actually get help, so it's something that she can fix in her life, because obviously at this point she's got to figure it out. So
yeah, she's at the point now where it's like, and I was thinking about this too, a lot of and other drag queens were posting about it, but it's like, obviously she doesn't deserve to kill herself over this, or self-harm or anything like that. What she did was absolutely horrible, but I think we live in a time where there is cancel culture, and I think that Sherry should be canceled for her actions, but at the same time, that is a human being, and I have a hard time just being like, go kill yourself.
Yeah, and this is the part of the fandom, like, we all feel a way about this, especially. This is a topic. This is something we all should feel very strongly about, but we also need to consider that fact. This is a human being. Again, not siding or trying to save Sherry, but it's like, hey, this is the bitter side of life. You got to pay for some shit that you did, and you finally make it onto this platform, RuPaul's Drag Race. Every queen wants to do it, or most queens, I'll say. And you're ruined. You're absolutely ruined. And it's now living in this time capsule that is the show. And people will only remember you for this. Even if you go out here and make a documentary about it, or don't try to put no shit on Netflix, because I'm not going to watch it. Like, you've killed that moment for yourself, and they have to live with that. So keep that in mind, listeners, and don't be too vile. Like, what is that really going to do? You're no better than Sherry if you're going to make comments and statements like that.
Right. And also too, from a human standpoint, like, you like shot the show, you're looking forward to it being on the air, like, and then literally the day of, like, your whole world comes crashing down. You spent thousands and thousands of dollars on these like ornate outfits, and now like you're probably not going to get booked after the show, so that also weighs on you too financially, which affects you mentally. But also, just kind of while we're talking about the looks, we kind of talked before we started recording, and we still want to talk about Sherry's looks, because you may have seen a post about her stylist or the person that made her dresses and outfits for the show. She posted like, this is hard work. Like, this is my whole life's work. Like, I can't show these images to show off my work anymore because now they're attached to Sherry Pie and like her horrible image. So going forward, we do want to support the designer of her clothing. So we will probably touch on looks here and there, but I think overall we're just going to try and limit our discussions about Sherry Pie in relation to this television show.
Yes, and listeners, please, we'll be going through our inbox. If you have any comments or feel like there's something we missed in this conversation, please reach out to tfcpod@gmail.com, because like Seth said, I'm sure this is going to be a theme throughout the season, and it's going to be a different kind of season because this is going to I feel like this is going to launch a lot of important conversations, especially ones that need to be had within the Grindr hookup community.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. This whole thing really just, it makes me like sad because this season, especially for the other queens and like the actual victims themselves, but like it just makes me sad because could you imagine just coming onto this show and like being so excited if you're one of the other queens, and then for this to be like basically the story of the season? Like right now is just about Sherry Pie and like her behavior online. Like it just, I don't know, it sucks for the rest of the queens and the season.
Yeah, very much so. I think we kind of covered that.
Yeah, the last thing I will say, sorry not to cut you off, Seth. I just want to leave all of you listeners, like, let's not let this bring down the whole season. There's still other queens on the show that we can get very excited about. They're all very talented. So let's have fun with those queens. And I think that we'll have a good time on TFC Pod. And we'll kiki and we'll shade where appropriate.
Right. And maybe you're wondering about the Britta situation, because it was also, in this story, it was kind of coming out about supposedly, or I guess I should say allegedly.
Yes, allegedly.
Britta adopted a drag daughter, and then like they were drunk one night and took advantage or sort of started to attempt to take advantage of a inebriated gentleman who did not want that kind of action. And so this actually came to surface 2 years ago in 2018. It's coming back into the forefront because, Britta's on the season of Drag Race as well. However, this is something that Britta has denied in 2018 and again now. So I think, where we're going to be at with Britta is just to continue to talk about her in the show as, of course, we stand with the victim, but until there's some sort of like,
until there's reason not to believe them.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll still talk about Britta. If you want to subscribe to our podcast, and you can email us like Jamal said. You can tweet us at TFC Pod. We're on Instagram at TFC Pod. Feel free to stay subscribed, and we'll give you updates as they come. And we'll keep you guys in the loop, and we'll discuss it again if we have to, but hopefully not. So let's get into it. Let's get into the honesty spill of the week and try to enjoy what we can of this episode.
Here we go.
Honesty.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our honest tea spill of the week. We are back again to break down episode 1B or possibly 2 of season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Wow, what an episode! Like I said, or like we kind of just discussed, there was sort of a dark cloud over the episode. So I kind of was in a mood. I was feeling some type of way when I was watching it. So that may affect or slightly bias my opinions on the episode in total. But yeah, let's get into it. At the start of the show, they showed the message about Sherry Pie, about her being disqualified. And then RuPaul, they kind of pick up where the girls coming in after the runway, where none of them are eliminated. They all come back into the workroom. And basically RuPaul tells them, like, let's leave a message on the mirror for the other half of the girls.
Yes, I love this part because I would just love to be somebody's shady spirit. Like if I'm a ghost, I'm never going to put my ghostly hands on you, but I would love to just leave like lipstick messages to just like freak people out. It's like, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, like you forgot to turn off the gas or something.
Don't get too comfortable.
Don't trip. I hope you break a heel.
Watch your step.
Oh, God. So then we get into the entrances of the second group of queens. So in the first group, we had 7. In this second group, for all intensive purposes, we had 5. And so the top queen that comes in is Rakam Sakura. And holy crap, what a way to enter the workroom.
I know, my goodness. I wasn't honestly sure how I was going to feel about Rakam, but the energy was just there for me. Like, I'm big on connection, or if you're just positivity, and I feel like I got all of that with Rakam. So naturally, that made me love her look. I thought she was doing the most with the colors, but it all worked for me. I like it.
Yeah, I was really into Rakam. I thought she was definitely bringing the energy and the personality in the confessionals, so I really appreciate that. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely excited to see more of Rakam this season.
And Trade. Rakam's so cute in boy drag.
Yeah. Also, I just want to toot my own horn that I was right about the reference to her name, because she did say that she named herself after the Rock'em Sock'em robots, like we said in the Meet the Queens episode.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Seth has always been our reference queen.
I mean, I didn't like Sherry Pie, and you saw what happened there, so...
I know. My first impression of her was I did not like her, and then I had to rewatch her video, of course, and I was like, oh, I think she's going to do well, so I take all of that back.
And Oracle.
You rewatched it, and you were like, oh, I guess Allison Mossie's kind of okay. Wait, what? All right.
Enough about that.
Anyway, sorry. I'm trying to process my emotions here. Anyways, so Rockam's entrance was really great and very memorable. Next, we have Dahlia Sin.
Okay, y'all, I know that I wasn't very excited about Dahlia. Oh, Dahlia. So excited to see Dahlia. She's pretty, okay? Like, Dahlia is a pretty queen. I'm just hoping that she brings more than looks and beauty. That's all I'm saying, y'all.
I like Dahlia. I thought she was pretty as well, but I really feel like after watching the episode, I don't take anything back. I still feel like she is the Kimora Black of the season.
Oh, I didn't say I took anything back.
So she's probably gone in a couple episodes.
Yeah, I'm also not a fan of Dahlia. Like, her look was just kind of okay. Like, I mean, it was well constructed, but I don't know.
I mean, she's a gorgeous queen. The outfit was like she went to the mall and got it. Maybe it was the fashion mall, but yeah, we just need a little more of that excitement, or to see Dahlia step out of the box, and then I think she will capture our souls.
Yeah, and I think her entrance line didn't really captivate the attention of the viewers like she thought it was going to.
No.
Womp womp. Anyways, moving on. Then the queen that shall not be named came into the room. Yeah. And then next we had Jan. Just Jan. Okay, y'all, listen. Okay, shoot me. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about Jan. I like Jan. I think that Jan and I would have been friends, and I think that this outfit was very basic, but I can appreciate a sparkly bitch. But hey, let's go out, Jan. I'm ready. Let's see what we can do.
So I don't think we were wrong about Jan in any way. Like, I do like her more than what I thought I would, but I think it's funny that everyone, like the judges this season, were just like, she was a lot.
No, listen,
because that's
she is the Tracy Flick of Drag Race.
Yes, she is the Tracy Flick, where it's just like, please shut the fuck up already.
Listeners, if you have not seen the movie Election featuring Reese Witherspoon, go figure out who Tracy Flick is. It's Jan Sport.
Yeah,
Just Jan, sorry.
Come on.
It's just Jan.
So yeah, with Jan, I don't know, like, I'm sort of in the middle. Like, I'm with Jan, like, she's not horrible, but at the same time, like, her, like, always like too happy, like, personality is upsetting to me, because like Jan said, she's like, her whole character is like Jesse Spano from Saved by the Bell, like the cheerleader that has taken a little one too many energy pills.
Caffeine pills.
Yeah, and it just sort of like reminds me of like bullies in high school. So I'm like, go fuck this bitch. Like,
now listen, I have a pretty good natural resting bitch face. So if anybody like this is around me in real life, it's like a struggle not to eye roll, have like an eyebrow just shoot up without me expecting it, or my face is doing something I have no realization is happening. But I also appreciate people like Jan because I know I'm a dark person, so it kind of like forces me out of that, and it's like, oh, I can find some light in this moment. She's silly. All these queens have stories, right? So I'm sure that we're going to get deeper into Jan. At least I hope we do.
We're going to get Dark Jan at some point.
We're going to get Dark Jan at some point. But right now, I am all here for it.
like Dark Phoenix.
You know, there's
better than
going to
Dark
be
Phoenix.
some like bullshit episode where like Jan has a breakdown, cries, and Rue hugs her, and then we're all supposed to be like happy about it.
Yeah.
Hey, that's mean.
Pepsi.
I will. Oh my gosh. I'll cry with you, Jan.
I did
She's like-
enjoy. Oh, sorry.
She like Hulk smashes the mirror.
She just headbutts the mirror while they're getting ready.
Yeah. She like rips someone's wig apart or something. Like
She
with her
goes
bare
out on the
hands.
runway as Carrie.
Yeah.
I did want
Careful.
to. I did want to say I did enjoy the fact that she kept like correcting people on the Jan name, like because they made her change it to just Jan.
Just Jan.
So they just kept like saying she was just like just Jan.
Yeah. But it works for her character, so whatever.
It does.
All right. Next we have Jada Essence Hall.
Royalty has arrived. Like, I just can't. This one, you just know from the moment she entered, she's going to be bringing you some look tea, some attitude tea, just everything you need in a strong black sassy queen.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for Jada. She definitely brings the elegance to the season.
Super elegant. Like,
And-
elegant auntie.
Yeah, we just need somebody like Jada on the season.
Yes.
Yeah. I was feeling a little some type of way about her in the rehearsal, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But no, I mean, I think Jada's look was good. I don't think her entrance was like the best, but she looked
It wasn't
good.
anything over the top, right? Like,
Right.
so, and like, again, listeners, this is season 12. We're not trying to like shit on these looks. We're just saying like there wasn't anything like super exciting or different, but she's a beautiful queen, like just beautiful. So of course we're still excited to see her.
Right. I think I was just expecting a lot based on like how much I loved her promo look. So when she came in, I mean, it's a good look. Like there was nothing wrong with her look at all. Like
It just felt safe, right?
Yeah, a little bit. So next and lastly, we have Aiden Zane, which I was a little surprised at how much I liked her entrance.
Now, I wasn't sure about like the pairing of the garments. Like maybe I would have done a different colored jacket, but oh my gosh, like her face beat and the hair. I love that pixie cut on Aiden, and I like the darkness and kind of like that dark what's the word? I love the color palette of that makeup, and like it works with what she's bringing in that persona, Aiden Zane.
And like the walk was a
Yeah,
little weird.
very, very like slithery, right?
Yeah, I didn't going into this from the Meet the Queens. I was not very high on Aiden, but she kind of won me over this episode. I'm kind of an Aiden stan now because I really loved her intro look. I think she's pretty funny, like just as like in the confessional. I don't know. I just think she brings something unique to the show, and she's kind of stands out from the rest of the cast in her own unique way.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I'm excited that she's on here.
She's fun, and she's one of those queens that makes you want more. Like, none of us knew until we watched this episode that we were going to be excited for what we're going to see next from Aiden. At least that's how I felt. My Twitter timeline felt.
Yeah, I definitely warmed up to her a little bit. I liked her entrance line. Are you ready to get insane?
Yeah, that was cute. That was cute.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the mini challenge.
Another mini challenge. Oprah voice.
Yes. All right, you guys. So let's get into this mini challenge. We are seeing the same mini challenge. They have to serve 2 looks, one from the spring and one from the fall.
Yes. Is Group B better than Group A? Let's see.
I'm gonna say no.
Oh no.
So, what did you guys think of the spring looks?
This is always so difficult when you're like thinking about all the queens as a group. I'm trying to think of who stood out to me.
Well, definitely Rockham with her painted kimono. Kimono?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
shit. I forgot
Rockham was
that.
very high on the list because we found out later in the episode that cape or those sleeves, they're actually hand drawn by Rockham. So I can appreciate that because it looked very cool, anime fantasy, but very cotton candy spring like. I was actually living for Dahlia's look too. I just got like 80s moment Prince. Like I'm pretty sure I could have seen this in a Prince video. I did want more from the makeup. I did, but yeah, it was fun.
Well, while we're on that topic, I thought it was very interesting that nobody brought up her beard.
Oh yeah, now I did clock that too. I'm not going to sit here
I
and
noticed
act
that
like I
too,
didn't.
actually.
We're getting very like Shangela season 2.
Uh-oh, yeah. She can go louder on the makeup for sure.
100%. But I do want to give her props. Like, I wasn't going to mention this look, but in my opinion, this was her best look of the episode. So I will give her props for her spring look.
I agree too. Like, and I think that Dahlia is just one of those queens. Again, we'll get into it later because it came up down the road. I think she's just trying to figure out truly what kind of queen she is. But I did like her spring look. I would say that Rockham honestly is probably my favorite just because for me it's so out of the box. We don't get to see our Asian queen shine very much outside of our faves. So I like seeing this energy right off the bat.
Definitely. I think Jan's look was okay here. I don't know. I just my issue with Jan's look is that she wears lots of look with like fringe like bordering every part of her clothing, and it's like I don't know. It's just not aesthetically pleasing to me.
Now, I think Jan looked cool, but I think it's like an execution thing for me. So I want, like you said, to do something a little different. I don't know. I think she's trying. I'm not going to shoot Jan down because she looked good, but she wasn't my favorite, but she wasn't the worst.
Yeah, and I think Jada looked good also in the spring. Like both of her looks were really good for spring and for fall.
Yeah, Jada is not playing with y'all. Like, yeah, we'll get into fall, but her spring look was cute too.
Yeah, I did like Aiden's a little bit. Like the concept was cool, but it was like a little cheaply made. Like it was like the dollar store version of like a designer dress, maybe.
Of Monet Exchange's sponge look. Like I could have immediately gone with a different shoe. Everything else would have been fine if I had a different shoe.
Yeah, like it wasn't bad, but it was like not up to the standards of even the queens on her episode, but definitely not on any queen in the first group.
Sure, yeah, I agree.
So anyways, so now let's talk about the fall looks. What were the standout ones to you?
I really like Jada Essence Hall the most because it's easy to kind of pull out the gowns and go down that road with these kind of challenges, but it's more appealing and you reach a broader audience if you can go a pinch more commercial and give a chic look that the everyday woman or everyday person could wear. And I think that the color was on point. The styling was great. I love this one.
Yeah, I really like Jada's as well. I'm actually having a hard time remembering all the fall looks. Like I remember that what Aiden wore and I did not like.
Oh my God, it was awful.
The Thanksgiving unitard.
It was like she was wearing like a tablecloth and like for Thanksgiving, like she just needed like the like pilgrim hat.
I didn't like that.
And it was just like, this is not cute, girl.
I wrote, go back to Party City where you belong.
No!
Yeah, I don't know. And that's what I was trying to think of, like the other ones I liked, but that was the only one that like really stuck out to me and not in a good way.
Well, I did like Rockham's look a little. Like, I thought that was pretty good. Like the actual concept and the design of it, but the fit was a little bit off.
The fit
It was a little too
shaky. Yeah, it was a little shaky. Sissy That Sasquatch, Dahlia. I mean, that was cute, but we've kind of seen that before.
It kind of like read as poodle to me.
Yeah.
Future poodles of America.
Yeah. Also, I think they had Mayhem back to play a different person this runway.
Was it Andre Leon Talley?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I'm trash. Like, does he design for like Walmart or like, I don't know what's going on.
Listen, listeners, Andre Leon Talley is a huge fashion influence. He's worked with Anna Wintour for years, but his story is just crazy. He actually has a documentary on Hulu, Life According to the Gospel According to Andre. It's really good, but it kind of goes throughout his background and explains who he is and how he got there. I love that man. I just do. I love me some Andre Leon Talley. I'd love for him to read me at tea.
Well, I feel compelled to watch that because I also have Hulu, so I'm interested.
It's one of those like quick hour-and-a-half docs that I go back to and watch if there's nothing else on, and I enjoy it every time. He's comes from North Carolina, a very small town. Of course, he's a black queer person, so coming up in that environment and having his own mother not want to walk into church with him because he was wearing a fur, like his story is very interesting.
Okay. Well, and then we also had Kim Chi on the panel.
Yeah, Queen Kim
fun.
making her rounds.
And then I think they had not Karl Lagerfeld. And I don't know for sure, but I think that was Sonique.
Oh, no, I didn't clock Sonique. I know Raven was back in a look I enjoyed more this week.
Was Raven there? Because I don't remember seeing her at all.
See, I feel like that was Raven. Oh no, listeners, was it Sonique or Raven?
Oh,
I feel like
it was
it
definitely not Raven. The lips were like more thin.
It was weird. I had a hard time identifying any of them other than Kim Chi.
I felt like I definitely saw Raven, but maybe my mind is just playing tricks on me because I know she was there the previous week.
Well, first I thought it was Trinity, but then I was like, no, there's not enough plastic here.
All the Botox blasted queens were like, I thought it was this one. No, I thought it was this one.
Yeah, but no, I do think it is Sonique because it looked like there was a woman, Karl Lagerfeld. I don't know. So let's go ahead and move on. I don't know. This is one of the mysteries of life, girl.
Let us know on Twitter, y'all. Let us know.
All right. So, oh yeah, the sour moment after they all get out of drag, and Sherry's like, "I can't wait to see what everyone looks like out of drag." I'm like, "Ooh, let's cut that line, y'all. Cut the line."
No, that's that tweet in live action that we saw RuPaul's Drag Race giving Sherry the villain edit.
Yeah, girl. Yikes.
Sorry, I said it.
Yes. Anyways, moving on, we go on to the Maxi Challenge where they all have to write a verse to a song titled "You Don't Know Me" that explains who they are as a drag queen.
Yeah, and this is kind of like a play on the Chicago musical, of course, because that's where Fosse comes from. I felt like a bad gay because for a second there, and by a second I mean at least 20 minutes, I forgot Fosse and the impact. So my gay card was at risk of being lost there. But there's a track in Chicago where all of the inmates have like their moment and you kind of learn who they are. And this was that. So I was very excited that this was their challenge this week.
Right. And I also love the story producer calling out Dahlia because she's like, "Oh my God, I love Fosse." And they're like, "Who's Fosse?" God, I hate Dahlia.
Womp womp.
I mean, yeah, don't pretend. I don't know who Fosse is, but I also don't pretend that I do. So
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to handle it the gay way and be like, "I feel like I've heard about Fosse before, but I couldn't tell you like exactly from where."
Yeah. And I'm going to
That's
just
what you
tell you
said.
that my ass forgot. So
I literally never heard this person.
Yeah, I didn't know that Fosse was a person, but I always associated it with like cabaret style dancing.
At first,
Close enough.
I was like, whoa, like Sherry Pie was talking about Allison Mossy, like even during the show.
Yeah, maybe that's
it
how.
does rhyme.
Mossy. Hands. All right. Anyways.
Sorry, y'all.
Sorry. Moving on. Well, actually, kind of not moving on. This is like kind of the part of the show where Sherry was really fucking annoying because she was like, I am the musical theater queen. Have you ever taken musical theater class? Have you ever been in West Side Story? Have you ever played Hairspray and Wicked? Recite the entire play of Wicked. If you can't recite the entire play of Wicked, you can't be on the show.
What the fuck is going on with your Sherry Pie impression?
It has to sound like a creepy old man now.
That's her voice. She does that weird affectation to her voice.
Now, I tweeted this, y'all. Like, it's so like difficult watching the Sherry Pie scenes because there were a lot of moments where I liked what she was doing or I agreed, and I was just quickly brought back to life when I was just like, oh shit. And then I look at my Twitter timeline and this is what's popping off.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because there are parts that I was like, oh, that was funny, but then you like feel guilty for laughing because it's Sherry Pie and you're just like, fuck.
Yeah, I was live tweeting the whole episode, so y'all probably caught the full range of my emotions.
Right. But just, I feel like it's really annoying. Like when theater gays are like this, they're like, oh, like, you don't know who Fosse is? Oh my God, let me tell you everything about Fosse. But also at the same time, I'm not going to lead the choreo because I don't want to take any responsibility in my life.
Now listen, some of those, like, I will say our culture, the queer culture, yes, that's a full read, and I will second and support it because some of you theater and performance queens be out here acting like all of us need to know that whole ass textbook, and there are different kinds of like queens out here in this community, so all of us probably aren't into musicals. I mean, I am, but I still can't tell you every director or producer's name.
I can
tell you most of them, but
I'm definitely not into musicals, so stop fucking telling me I have to watch any of them because I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, he won't. I will. He'll play. He's a gamer. Remember, y'all.
Yeah. Last of Us coming HBO, girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Video game tea.
I'm trying to think like one musical I've watched. I was like, wow, this was really good.
Meanwhile, I'm like in the corner with my Kleenex just crying.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah. Anyways, so that part really annoyed me. I was like, shut the fuck up, Sherry.
No, I feel it.
Oh God, I'm like going to segregate us from all the New York people, but it also kind of annoyed me. And this also ties in with Dahlia too, because they just like have to know everything. And if they don't know everything, they pretend like they know everything. Like, if you don't know something, just tell us you don't fucking know what is, okay? Like, you're not cool.
And
it's
keep in mind too, this is very like episode 1 getting to know you energy. Like, all the queens want to be the most educated.
Yeah, girl.
Educated and most, top performance, America's Next Top Drag Queen. Like, everybody's trying to be that right away. And sometimes that doesn't really let us get to know who they are.
Yeah. All right, so now we move into the rehearsal. This is probably one of the biggest clusterfuck rehearsals we've seen in RuPaul's history. This one I actually did kind of wonder. I was like, well, let's see what happens tomorrow. And basically everything that they practiced in rehearsal like didn't happen. So LOL.
Yeah, I pretty much that's what happened. There was just like, again, another situation of too many cooks in the kitchen. And I agree with Jan. Like, you want to make sure, like, the devil is in the details. You want to get every little piece right, but also on the flip side, you have to keep it moving. Like, you have to manage your time well, or, okay, you have a very strong opener and then you just have like a flop of a closer or a finale. That won't work. So watching them figure this out was chaotic, to say the least.
Yeah, I felt similarly about Jada as I felt about Britta in the first one, where it's just like kind of annoying where they're trying to act like everyone's doing too much when they're just trying to dumb down the choreography because they're not good at it.
Yeah, it's a defense because it's like, okay, you're not hitting it, so you want to move on, of course, because you can't do that part. Well, the rest of us are trying to rehearse and figure it out.
That's the vibe I was getting. I felt like Jada just was probably overwhelmed, didn't know how to do it, so it was kind of like, I'm just going to lash out because I need something to, like, basically I'm just stressed, so I need to let it out somehow.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. So then the next day in the workroom, we find out this horrible, tragic story about Rockham's mom. Like, as, you know, a kid, her mom told her that she did drugs because of her kids.
Yeah, this was a terrible thing to hear because, of course, we know like these stories exist, and there are plenty of people with just unfortunate childhoods and upbringings, just things you'd never imagine, just mental and physical abuse, right? So hearing that Rockham's mom used to say, "I'm this way because of you," to her children, that's just a dark soul. I'm glad that that's something Rockham's working through, because you can't cure people like that. You can't help people like that. And it was definitely not the children's fault.
No, and that's a horrible burden to put on your children, and that's really fucked up, because that then they get put in that like headspace like their entire lives, and they just think, you know, like, oh, this is my fault, and I don't know. Fuck that shit. I don't know. That was horrible to hear.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now let's move into the performance. I have to say that I did like RuPaul's runway look, the green feathers and the blonde, I guess, afro?
Yes, afro.
Is that what you call it? I don't know.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Bleached fro.
Yeah, very stylized. You know, do you think that's the same hair that she wore in the Rumail?
Oh, I'm going to have to take a look. I mean, maybe it was styled differently. It very well could be the same wig.
I don't know. It was very reminiscent of that. But I mean, I like the Rumail wig. This season is really good.
I love whenever RuPaul just lets her soul glow, and she gives us this giant ass afro that's probably 50 pounds on her head.
Yeah,
I wasn't
feeling Palm Springs Rue in the workroom earlier.
That was too busy. Okay, I was not into that at all.
Are you talking about head wrap, Rue?
Head wrap, hat. It was white with all the florals.
She did that in the first premiere. I don't know what's going on with Rue's looks, like workroom looks this season.
Rue's experimenting with somebody.
She's just trying to feel her oats at her age.
Listen,
you know, a woman of her age, it's hard to...
Okay, Baga. As soon as I'm completely bald, that is all you're going to fucking see. Now, I'm no Lafayette from True Blood. I give you a head wrap when I'm around the house, but yeah, it just doesn't work with my look.
Yeah, I don't know, girl. Anyway, so Rue looked great on the runway. Let's talk about the performance. What did you... Girl, this was a performance was a struggle for me to get through. Like, there were shining moments, but overall I was like, this is like incredibly lame compared to like the first premiere.
No. See, I actually enjoyed this one more. Maybe I liked the song a little more, but I was definitely more engaged with this performance.
I think I was more engaged, but I was like not overwhelming. It was very underwhelming to me as well. I don't know, but I also was underwhelmed with the previous episode, so I don't know. I think the season sucks in general so far.
Oh, God.
Let's just generally not comment on the rest of the season. Just like fuck this whole thing.
I don't know. Not to
Can
be
we
negative
disqualify this whole season?
No,
I'm
that's not fair.
Trying to be a negative Nancy. I'm gonna like try to give this season. Right now, I'm not feeling it. Like, I don't know. I'm ready for like Drag Race UK again or something.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, see, my thing is, I don't think the season is trash. I just wish that we could have a season where it was just like only the girls in the first like group plus Jada and Rockham. Like, that's all. Like, the rest can go. Like, you know.
No, I like
Shade
Aiden.
rattle sprinkled.
I could deal without Aiden. Like, I'm not saying Aiden's like as horrible as I thought she was gonna be, but like still, like I don't need to see anymore. We've seen it all.
I think that we're gonna get a decent season despite everything that's going on. But I think with these first performances in general, much like the first group, it's a lot of nerves. I was feeling like the vibe of this performance a little more, and I think that's just because this is more my wheelhouse, like this type of burlesque-esque type performance. And that's not to say I don't have like my hip-hop let's twerk twerk the house down moments, but I think this group, I was just more engaged with overall. Overall, the solos, like the first group, could have used some more life. Like, that's what brings it down for me, because the together stuff was cute. It was fine. The Queen Who Shall Not Be Named, of course, they stood out because that's just what they do. I did enjoy Jada. Enjoy Jada's performance. It just felt very fluid. She was comfortable despite the way the rehearsal went. But I think that a lot of the queens are just kind of pushing through and working through the nerves of, oh my God, there's Michelle, there's Rupaul, and oh my gosh, it's Robin and Tandy. It's Beloved. She's going to put a curse on me. Like, there's just a lot going through their heads, right?
Yeah, and I will say that I did enjoy Jan in the performance. She brought because she was like in the middle, so it was starting to there was starting to be a lull and excitement, and Jan just kind of like re-energized you through the end of the performance.
Yeah, I love Jan for that, because as soon as she's one of those personalities I see now that as soon as they're on screen or on stage, it just lights up. It was very much like the feeling when I saw Thorgy in person for the first time. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's just like the energy's there. Immediately you're in it with them. So props to you, Jan.
Jan's just like, oh my God, did you see that? Rue just like hasn't blinked in 10 minutes. Oh my God. And now she's picking up a pen. Oh my God, Rue has a pen in her hand.
What the fuck?
Like, Jan, calm down.
Now listen, if you're one of my friends that are like that, you know that I've probably thrown a glass of cold water on your ass at some point in our lifetime.
Yeah.
I can only put up with so much of that. Okay.
Yeah, the performance itself, like, I don't think it was horrible. It just, for me, like, I connected more with the first one when they were like, oh, second one, Robin. Like, I don't think the second song connected with Robin, whereas in the first challenge, the tie-in with Nicki Minaj was very real. It's like, we are having a rap challenge because we have Nicki Minaj here, and you were like, we want to see if you can, replicate like Nicki Minaj and homage to Nicki Minaj. Here, we didn't really get that with Robin.
Yeah, and see, that's one of those things, like, I'll have to go and listen to RuPaul's podcast to see if Robin maybe left a nugget that she really enjoyed show tunes and Broadway shows, because I agree with you. Like, okay, Chicago's cute. Everyone loves Chicago or Chicago-themed performance, but it didn't really tie into Robin. I agree.
Yeah. She wasn't really, like, as featured as prevalently as Nicki was.
And Robin's been around forever. Like, I tweeted this. Robin was one of the first CDs I owned. Like, one of the first CDs, my parents were like, you're all allowed to go get one CD and pick one, and it's going to go under the Christmas tree. And my gay ass picked Robin Is Here in 1995.
And that's when your parents were like, our kid is gay.
I don't think they had any idea, because I then went on to buy Spice Girls and Cleopatra Coming At Ya.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I live for those bitches.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't mean this to, like, disparage Robin or anything, of course.
No.
Like, I just wish they would have found a way to incorporate her more into the show.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't know. Robin's just such a nice person. Like, I, like similarly to Jamal, like, I kind of knew about Robin before, like, the last year or 2 years, maybe even when she was, like, blowing up. Well, more than that, maybe like 5 years. Anyways, so
yeah.
Like, I actually met Robin back like 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So my last semester of college, I was doing an internship at MTV Radio Networks, and she was coming in to do an interview, I think.
Oh my gosh, that is right.
Yeah. And so, like, I was about to go to lunch, or like I was going somewhere, and then I saw this, blonde woman, just very like business-like suit, and I was just like, she looked like she needed help. and she's like, do you know where blah 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 is? And I'm like, and usually when the people came in to get interviewed, they came in with like a whole posse, like a manager, like every member of their band.
Oh,
like
the
everything.
whole team is there, yeah.
Yeah, but Robin, she just came herself, just very nice, like, oh, do you know like where this person is? And so like I kind of like walked her over and showed her where she needed to go. She was like very polite, very nice, just like such a wonderful
us talking
person.
about this on the phone. That's crazy. That's really 12 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Surprise, I'm old.
We are old, girl. Let me go check this mirror.
So yeah, we love Robin here. I wish that they could have just used her in a better way. So I don't know.
For sure.
Anyways, let's keep this show on the road. So that was the performance. They do a runway. We're on our 800th look, and
No shit. The theme is Tool, y'all. Tool. I'm into this
I
one.
will say, in past seasons, I have bitched about I just want to see what these queens are made of and have looks. Well, they did it this season,
Oh,
you
hell
got your
yeah.
wish, girl.
so maybe scale it back a little bit more. But I won't complain because we did get to see everything that everyone wanted.
Oh my
to
gosh,
do.
the producers are listening to us.
Yeah, Stoney, can you just let them know it was a little too much because they seem to really like you.
Yeah, everyone likes Sony.
I don't know. It was fine. Just I don't know.
I like the black swan of the podcast.
I don't know what
Maybe
I am.
instead of next time, we don't need spring and fall looks. Just I don't know, your best summer garb, and then
Yeah, your best barbecue down south look.
Well, we're nitpicky viewers, right? Because I'm okay, season 12, the season 6 nod makes sense. But this was the spring fall thing. That was a season 7 challenge. So what does that mean? Because 6 plus 7 is 13. Am I missing something here?
Katya's
Well, if
coming
you
back.
multiply it by 3 and then divide it by 27,
Oh, God.
I think Katya's coming back.
can Katya replace Sherry Pie?
Katya would be like,
She shows up in the
Hello.
finale. I'm
Yeah.
replacing Sherry Pie.
Well, rumor has it they filmed an alternate ending to the show because last season when everyone found out that Vanjie was going home before the episode even aired because they leaked their own stupid promo picture.
Oh,
with-
oh, yeah.
They did
yeah.
alternate of the final 5.
Yeah.
yeah. So supposedly there's an alternate ending, so we'll see how that affects the show. So
Well, we'll know we'll be all over it thanks to you, faithful listeners. But
Yes.
back to the looks.
oh, and while we're thanking the listeners, just belated shout out to Holly, one of our I don't want to call her a fan or a listener, but she we're friends with her, and she brought us some of the Reddit drama. Her and her friend Danielle were
I'd
finding.
say Holly is one of the OG listeners. She's always kind of been there on social media with us, hanging out. So Holly and Danielle, they were just giving us the Reddit scoop, y'all. I have a panic attack whenever I log into Reddit, so I can only do it once a month.
Yeah, so big thanks to both of them for helping to collect information as the story was developing.
Yes,
Yeah.
and shout out to all of you other listeners and friends online that were tagging us in the stories as this developed.
Yeah, we love some Holly. Holly's amazing, so shout out to her.
Yes. All right. So we're getting a little long in this recap, but just to breeze through these looks, I think this was maybe Aiden's best look.
I thought this was so fashion forward. I thought the makeup was right. The hair choice and styling was right. I never thought I would love a lime green gown, but I thought it looked great. That look slayed for me. I also really enjoyed Rockham's look because it was just way too much. It was way too much. But I thought it was very fashion Furby. The first Furby I owned, more gay shit.
Jamal has 28,000 Furbies.
More
We
gay
have a
shit.
Furby room at our house.
My first Furby was
my Furby, my Furby.
that
Welcome
is
to-
not part of the behind the scenes content.
Welcome to our Furby room, everyone.
Furby Hall.
Hell no. But listen, this look was so I just love the drama of the look, okay? Furby was my friend. Fuck y'all.
Sorry. Yeah. No, I did like Rockham's look. I thought this was our Michelle eye roll moment of the episode. For criticizing it and saying that it was too much. Go away,
I know.
Michelle.
There was still a shape there. You clearly saw a waist.
Wait, no. Michelle did not criticize Rockham. It was Ross.
Well,
Remember?
it's still Michelle's fault. Somehow it's
'cause-
Michelle's fault.
No, because Michelle was like, I actually really like it because it had shape to it. And Ross was like, fuck no,
That's
Michelle.
right. That's right.
And that was
Ross
actually
this
the one time I was like, wow, I agree with Michelle.
Well, I think I saw the alternate ending of this episode.
Look,
Oh, no.
Auntie Michelle was beat too, but I also really enjoyed Jada's. I thought it was simple, and it still gave us like the layers and excitement with like the frou-frou of the tulle and what tulle is supposed to do for a garment.
Yeah,
I think Jan won like the most like creative. Like I thought that was a really creative idea.
I hated Jan's look.
Well, that's why I was saying it was. I didn't like love it, but I thought it was a creative idea.
It was clever.
It was the
Tulle-
worst one.
The Tool thing was like a little cheesy to me and a little Party City. I thought it was weird that she was like sticking it in her mouth and like pretending to like unscrew things on the stage.
And also, I think I was getting my Dahlia looks mixed up, but I thought that this makeup was the makeup that could have used a little more work because the look itself was like very spot on. I was feeling like my 80s fantasy. I just thought that we could have used a little more excitement and like the eye makeup, or like give us a nice strong, bold, make a statement type colored lip. But it just flowed, and it was very like edgy and rock and roll chic, which is my aesthetic Monday through Friday.
Yeah. So just in passing, Sherry's look was dark and stormy, so very appropriate. She's just raining on all our parades.
It does suck
Literally.
because I actually really like this look. So I don't know if I'm assuming that it came from a designer. If so, then that designer is awesome because it was a really cool look. So
Here's what I think we should do with the designers. If there's like a look we really like, designers, how about we just put your logo over Sherry's face and we just won't tag her?
Yeah, I like that idea.
I
She
mean,
won't
it was
be getting tagged in
it
any of
was
our
cool.
episodes.
I'm gonna start trying to look up maybe who designed Sherry's outfits before the episode, before we record. That way we can like shout them out or something.
I'm happy to do that work.
Yeah. So everyone's calling out Dahlia again because they're like, well, your lyrics like were all lies. We didn't learn anything about you.
She was like, Michelle was like, I'm assuming you're from Vegas. Actually, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this is one of those things, like, I will reiterate, I think that Dahlia is still trying to figure out who she is, but, like, the cute and slutty card only goes so far, girl. Like, you need to, at season 12, listeners, you can already hear me saying it. You can still hear me saying it's season 11. Well, guess what? It's season 12, and we need to know who you are, what you're serving, and what you're about. So now is not the time to be doing all of that, ma'am.
Yeah. And if you're going to give a stank face a bad attitude the whole episode, maybe you should have stronger looks so that you can do that.
There's
I just
the
think
tea.
she's like really young, and like from her lyrics, you can kind of just see that's her mindset right now. It's just like, oh, like I'm a fucking, like I'm trade, and like fuck you. I'm
a
like,
fuck fairy, which is
yeah.
fine. We're
so
not
it's
sex
just like,
shaming, but
there's no substance there. It's all just like, I've got like, you know, have an edge to me, and like I'm a rebelling against the world type
I'm pretty.
attitude.
Yeah, we want to know more, Dahlia.
Yeah. And just to be fair in our criticism, I think Aiden is in the same boat, like trying to figure out where she's at and that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
I could
For
agree
sure.
with that.
Agree. Mm-hmm.
Just a different type of rebellion.
Different lane,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, Aiden's a little more down to earth.
There it is.
So we move on in similar fashion. Rue just keeps telling the girls, oh, you're safe, la, la, la. And then we find the top two are Jada and the other one. And then they get to lip sync to Call Your Girlfriend by Robin, which is like such a great song.
Such a good one. Such
again,
a good one.
We see the influence of Dusty Ray Bottoms in That Queen She Shall Not Be Named. I'm like, this is like really the reemergence of Dusty Ray Bottoms. Like, can we get her back on this season?
It really is. Now, you know Dusty will probably pop up on an All-Stars for sure.
Damn, girl. I'm ready. With the polka dots. Fuck you, Michelle.
Yeah, full face. Full Dusty face.
Yeah. And then, so then out of the lip sync, Jada wins, rightfully so. When she hit that,
Split.
drip, that dip, then, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time talking today. Sorry, everybody. When she hit that dip, I was like, bam, that's the bitch that won. Like, fuck yeah. I was like super stoked for Jada. She really killed that lip sync.
Listen, Jada is not playing with y'all, so I'm sure that we're going to see some more like eyebrow and edge snatching moments from this one.
Yes. So then they go back into the workroom, and who's waiting for them there? The other half of the queens.
Dun, dun, dun.
They're all like, oh. And I was like, wow, it's really like the B team is meeting like what a drag queen should look like.
It's like, meh.
Yeah, that was great. I loved that part. I mean, Heidi in closets, like Mohawk, was so great, so good. I think Crystal Method was Frida. I think that it was just shown very quickly. So I think it was Crystal, but that was definitely like a Frida reference, and I was living for it. And all the girls looked good, and I was like, oh my god, please, can we just eliminate the second? The second half of the girls, like everyone at the first premiere was so good.
Yeah, it's tough. It's going to be interesting seeing them all blend.
Yeah, I think we know who's going to be eliminated more quickly than.
We're usually right. We are usually right.
Yeah, and we were not wrong, like on this episode, because the worst queen was definitely Dahlia.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's go into our fantasy league. So Sony's gonna give us an update, but before we get into the update, based on the actions of Sherry, we're making a substitution to Stoney's team.
So if we have any new listeners with us, we at the top of each American RuPaul's Drag Race, we do a fantasy league, and we all do round robin style or snake draft style, excuse me. And we pick queens, and Dahlia was the only queen not selected. So given the light of recent news, Stoney's going to give us some adjustments and then our points.
Yeah, so my team originally, I had Aiden, Britta, Gigi, and Sherry Pie. And then Dahlia was the unpicked queen, which basically that queen would have replaced whoever got eliminated from whoever's team. So... in light of the events and the fact that Sherry has been canceled / disqualified on
Mostly canceled
Drag Race, we are going to take Sherry off of my team because there's no point in getting points, and also I feel kind of gross just getting points from someone.
And if she's been officially disqualified, it also makes no sense for us to keep accumulating points under the name Sherry Pie.
Right.
So, bye, girl.
I will be replacing Sherry Pie with Dahlia Sen. And so now my team is Aiden, Britta, Gigi, and Dahlia.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Yes girl.
So this week, just to start putting the points together here, so a couple of miscellaneous things that happened in the episode. So we did have a queen that wore a kimono this season.
Finally.
And that is
There it
Rocco
is.
Sakura, which Jamal will get 10 points
Yes.
for that. So congrats, Jamal. And then I am going to just make the executive decision here that
I
Dahlia
get 50 points.
Yeah, right. Here goes.
Dahlia Sin kind of got criticized by Michelle for not opening up and just talking about like shit that doesn't matter.
I'll give you that.
So I'm
Yeah,
going to
that's
give
fair.
myself 10 points for Dahlia Sin, especially since I lost all my goddamn points because of Sherry. And then, so if we look at the main challenge winners, Jada was in the top 2. So Jada and Jamal get 20 points.
Yes.
And then Jada ended up winning the top 2 lip sync. So Jada and Jamal get another 10 points.
Yes, queen.
So
I feel another crown coming on.
so after 2 full episodes, Jamal is in the lead now with 40 points.
Yes.
Let's get it.
And then Seth and I are tied with 30 points apiece.
Woo. Still a close game.
I'm coming for your edges.
Yes, girl.
I hope you've got that good gel. that good gel protecting them down.
Mm-hmm. Get those Dahlias and baby hairs.
Smooth them down. Smooth them down.
All right. Well, I guess this is the part where we would normally talk about Untucked. However, I feel like nothing really like new was brought up in Untucked. I mean, Robin did come back, and they had a nice little kiki with Robin.
Mm-hmm.
She gave them advice on like being a performer, so that was cute. But I mean, other than that, I really don't think there's much to discuss quite yet.
No, and
It
we
was
had
pretty
the
boring.
Sherry piece of pie to dig into, so we're not going to really get into an Untucked this week, listeners. But what I will say about the fantasy draft is check our socials, because I did share a link that's bits.ly/TFC fantasy, and you can follow along via our shared Google Doc. So you can see the categories, you can go through and pick your queens and follow along. Yeah, it's on the website. The link is on Twitter. Maybe we'll share it out again, but join the fun. Let's get into it.
Yes, girl. So I think we're all looking forward to next week when all the queens are on one episode, and we will be able to, get into our more usual format, and hopefully they don't do like 5 looks each episode.
Yeah, and we don't mean to scoot over things, but I mean, time management is a thing, and we're going to talk about the highlights and what we didn't like. So,
right. So hope you guys enjoy this. Again, thank you guys for kind of coming along with us, with the ride of, this queen that was disqualified. Really, we hope to keep the talk about her minimal and just praise her designer. And yeah, so we'll see you guys next week with the entire cast reunited.
reunited.
And until then, bye.
Bye.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.